Alright, today we're going to look at quadratic equations. These are in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers, but a cannot equal to 0. Notice that if a is 0, that makes this term 0, which is gone now, and you just have a linear equation. So for anything to be a quadratic equation, you have to have your x to the second power, and that's your highest degree. Alright? Alright, this is the first one we're going to look at, and to solve this one, we're going to go ahead and factor. Okay, that's usually one of the first ones that you do. So, I'm going to show you the steps on how I factor. I'm going to go ahead and look at my c, my third term, my constant, and I'm going to go ahead and write the factor, so 6. So, I always start off with 1 times 6, and then I just keep moving up. 2 times 3, and that's it. Alright, so here are my factors, and I have 1 times 6 is equal to 6, and 2 times 3 equal to 6. Now, what I need to do is combine either this factor or these factors together so that I can get a negative 5. Notice that I want to, if I add these two, I want to get a negative 5. In order for me to do that, I have to make them both negative. Negative 2 plus negative 3 is negative 5. And notice that if I multiply them, negative 2 times negative 6, I get positive 6. So these are the correct factors. And now that you've broken them up, this is my new equation. So notice that this first line and this second line are equal to each other. All you did was break it up. So that must mean that either this is equal to 0 or this is equal to 0. Because notice that if I get 0 in here, this means that this says 0 times whatever's in here. 0 times this is going to give you 0. So that's what I want to find out. Or of course vice versa. Or if this is equal to 0, 0 times this will give me 0. So I can have two answers here. So what I'm going to split it. X minus 2, is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. So you have two things to solve. Plus 2 plus 2, x is equal to 2, or x, or plus 3 plus 3, x is equal to 3. So your solution set is 2, 3. By the way, in case you don't know yet, quadratic equations are either going to have two solutions, one solution, or no solution. Alright, go ahead and try these out. I'm going to show you the answers in 3, 2, 1. Alright, here's your solution set. I hope you got them right. Alright, what if they give you something like this? Guess what? Doesn't matter. You're going to go ahead and move everything to the left side so that it's equal to 0. And then we can go ahead and factor just like we did before. So here I'm going to move that x over. Minus x, minus x. Now notice that I can't combine these two terms. This is an x squared and that's an x. They're not the same, so they're not like terms. All I'm going to do is write them next to each other. So I have 2x squared minus x equals to 3. I didn't touch my 3, so I brought it down. Move that 3 over. Minus 3, minus 3. So my equation now looks like this. Just like before, I'm going to write my factors, 1 times 3. And I'm going to go ahead and, if you have an a here, you also have to take this into consideration. So, what I'm going to do here is start to set it up. If this has factors, I'm going to go ahead and add them in here also. So notice that before all I wrote was x and x. That's because there was a 1 here, and the factors of 1 are 1 times 1. So 1x times 1x. Here, I have 2x and 1x. Alright, so I'm going to place my factors here, 3 and 1. And I need to make this a negative 3, so that means that one of these is positive. So, make this equal to 0. By the way, if you ever doubt what signs you chose or where you place your numbers, go ahead and work out what you have. Okay, go ahead and distribute everything, FOIL, and see if you get back your original equation. If you do, then you're good. If you didn't, then you need to go ahead and play with your signs or use different factors in case you have it. So, remember, this means that either 2x minus 3 is equal to 0 or x plus 1 is equal to 0. Go ahead and solve each side. Plus 3 plus 3. 2x is equal to 3. Divide by 2, divide by 2. X is equal to 3 over 2. Now do the left side, the right side. Now do the right side. Minus 1 minus 1. And x equal to negative 1. So, your solution set. Negative 1, 3 over 2. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and try this one out. Here, my factors are 1 times 1, 1 times 9, and 3 times 3. Remember, I want to make it so that I get a negative 6x as my second term. So, I know that 1 times 9 is not going to help me at all. So 3x, 1 and 1. Now, what sign should I choose here? Notice that I need to make this a negative 6x. So, if I do a negative 1 and a negative 1, once I FOIL, I'm going to do 3x times negative 1, so that's negative 3x. And I get to do it again. Another negative 3x, negative 6x. And notice that when I multiply these two during my FOIL, I'm going to get positive 1. So this is my factoring. So, what do I have here? Either 3x minus 1 is equal to 0, or 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. Now notice that I have the exact same thing. So I don't need to solve both of them. Plus 1 plus 1. 3x equal to 1. Divided by 3. Divided by 3. X is 1/3. That means that this answer repeats. Okay, because here you have a repeated solution. So my answer here is just 1/3. Alright, go ahead and try these out. I'll show the answers in 3, 2, 1. Here are your results. Hope you got them right. Alright, so you saw factoring. Now we're going to look at the square root method. Square root method is going to be nice and quick. Here you have something that looks like this. X squared equal to p. You have some number there. Sometimes you might have to move something over. Sometimes you don't. Depends what kind of question they show you. But very fast, very easy. Let's look at one. Alright, here you have x squared equal to 4. Now, I don't want to know x squared. Just want to know x. Well, to get rid of a square, you need to take the square root on both sides. So, square root on both sides. This is dealing with x. Now here, okay, you should remember that when you take the square root of something, you get two answers. A positive answer that your calculator will show you, but it won't show you that you actually also get a negative answer. Now, let's see why that happens. We know that to get 4, 2 times 2 gives us 4. So that must mean the square root of 4 is 2. Well, if I look, negative 2 and negative 2 also gives me 4. So that must mean the square root of 4 is also negative 2. Now, your calculators will only show you the positive answer because with the principal rule of square roots, we usually only go with the positive answer. But since it's squared and I can have a max of 2 answers, I show that it's both positive and negative 2. And it actually doesn't matter whether this is a perfect square or not. I see that I just have my x squared equal to p, just like in the general form. So, just like before, square root, x is equal to positive, negative, square root of 5. There. Alright, what about something like this? Here you might think to yourself that these are two different terms, but they're not. It's one big term squared. So this is like having your x squared equal to 16. Just that your x looks a little bit different now. That's alright. So, look at what we do. Just like before, we're going to take the square root on both sides. So, square root. That must mean that I lose that square. So, x minus 2 is equal to positive and negative, or negative 4. So look, I can have two different answers right here. Here I'm going to go ahead and split them. X minus 2 is equal to positive 4, or x minus 2 is equal to negative 4. Now I go ahead and solve it. Plus 2, x is equal to 6, plus 2, x is equal to negative 2. So in this case, my solution set is negative 2, 6. There you go. Alright, go ahead and try these problems out. I'll show you the answers in 3, 2, 1. Alright, here are your answers. Hope you got them right.